The 6 Miami bandsmen left the Castle Ballroom in Banbridge just before 2 this morning. 1 travelled north to visit friends in County Antrim. The remaining 5 drove south to Dublin and straight into a carefully prepared ambush.
In 1975, a loyalist gang disguised as UDR soldiers carried out one of the worst atrocities of the Troubles. 2 UVF paramilitaries were killed by their own bomb. In the moments that followed, 3 musicians from the Miami Showband were hunted down and shot dead. The Miami Massacre, as it became known, shocked Ireland. It devastated lives. Stephen Travers survived that terrible night. For over 30 years he's lived with the memory of his murdered Miami friends. He may be known as a survivor, but would prefer to be simply a bass player.
You know when you found what you want to do. Once I discovered music, it gave me a purpose in life. I'd get up really early in the morning just to look at the bass guitar. I couldn't play it at the beginning, but I just sat there looking at it.
Stephen Travers.
Thank you.
Stephen, well, a terrible, terrible night, and we'll talk about that in a minute or two if you can. But maybe begin at the beginning, the bass.
No, the bass is the only thing I ever did really well in my life. One day, this young fella knocked on our door. Chelsea was selling his bass guitar because, as he said, he couldn't make head nor tail of it. He said he bought it because it had 4 strings. He thought it'd be that bit easier to play. Which is not quite true, although this one has 5. I tried to handicap myself.
There's no head nor tail in this one.
It's a challenge. And they said that if I could come up with half the money for this bass guitar, that Chelsea would sell me his, and I'd be on my way. I'd start playing bass with them. And they were looking for, Chelsea wanted the princely sum of £5 for the guitar. So you can imagine it wasn't a Stradivarius. And I pestered my dad for £2.10. £2.50 today, I suppose. It didn't have a case, it didn't have anything. So I ran home with it and I played it really, really badly. It was dreadful, but I thought it was wonderful. And I played it until blisters came up. And then I played it until the blisters burst. When I joined the band, the Miami Showband, I just couldn't believe the talent. Well, that's on the left-hand side there. You've got before the thing comes down, you've got Brian McCoy from Caledon. Ray Miller's there in the front. Des is in the middle, and there beside Brian, you've got Fran O'Toole. Now, a lot of the ladies will remember Fran O'Toole. He was like Ireland's David Cassidy, and some of the younger people might say, who the hell is David Cassidy? And on the extreme right is one of the greatest musicians I've ever come across in my life. His name is Tony Geraghty. He was a quiet little fella, impish sense of humour, fantastic guitar player. And of course, hard to believe that's me there beside them. And there was certainly, when people came to see the Miami Showband, sectarianism was left outside the door, and nature took its course. We were probably the ultimate matchmakers because we brought people together, and well, we played in Banbridge. I'm sure some of you might remember Castle Ballroom in Banbridge. And so after the gig, we there was 5 of us, just the top 5 there were driving. We were to drive back down to Dublin. As we headed down towards Newry, we were stopped at a roadblock. They told us to stand at the side of the road, and there's a field in front of us. There's about a 3-metre drop down into the field, and we had to put our hands on our heads. There was this massive bang. It wasn't like a boom. It was the onomatopoeia would be a bang. It was very, very loud bang, and the whole world turned red. It was like a blood orange. That's one of them was blown out into the field. The other was blown down the road. But I tried to run, and I was in the air, and they told me I was shot while I was in the air. And I began to move down through the bushes into the field, and it was like I was in slow motion.
You were like falling?
I was falling down because I was blown up first into the air, but I just wouldn't accept that we're dead. And I remember telling Tony that he should count his fingers as well, and tomorrow night don't bring the Gibson, bring the Fender Telecaster tomorrow night, in case you hurt the fingers. There's been too much killing, too much suffering. In fact, I wish the man who had perpetrated that could sit here beside us and tell you that this is let's all work together so that we can solve this thing. It should never happen again.
And you'll be prepared to shake your hand if
Absolutely, yeah.
the person shot you.
Yeah.
I think that's all. Thank you very much indeed.